Weight painting is essential for rigging anything. It is a gateway that translates our rig to our mesh. Although many people fear the weight painting, it can be conquered simply through practice. Hello everyone, I'm Mila from Invictus Studio, and without any delaying, let's get started. Before even assigning a single vertex to a bone, we need a bone. Create an armature with Shift A and then go to Edit mode. There, align the bone to the mesh and simply continue by extruding. This step shouldn't be that hard, you just need to trace the silhouette of your object and consider where the pivot point will be. It just takes time. If you're aligning with something mechanical, use 3D cursor to help you. Go back to object mode and then select the mesh. Go to edit mode and precisely select where would be the pivot point of a bone. And then press Shift S and select cursor to selected. Go to object mode, select the armature. In edit mode, with the head or the tail selected, press Shift S and this time choose selection to cursor. Now that you know the method, it's just a matter of repetition. Make sure to give each bone a right name. It will be important later. If you wanted to symmetrize some of the bones, ensure that the cursor is at the origin of the world. And with them selected, press W Symmetrize. For this to work, you need a proper naming convention. All of the bones on the right need to have .r and all of the bones on the left need .l at the end. If you have dot anywhere else in the name, Blender will not recognize it, so you need to replace it with something like underscore. Fortunately, you can rename all of the bones at once by pressing Ctrl F2. Set dot as find target and replace it with underscore. Then go to set name and then set suffix for each side correspondingly. Ensure that bone is selected instead of the object. You will now learn 3 methods of weight painting. First one is simply getting Blender to do it for us. Here I have a lot of bones for the tail, and it will be so boring to do it by hand when there is such a simple solution. I will select it as separate object and then select the armature. Press Ctrl P and choose with automatic weights. This is the simplest it will get. That is very nice, but what if I have clear boundaries of the body parts, like in a robot? That would need to be done by hand. Now I will select the rest of the scorpion and then select the armature. I will press Ctrl P and now select with empty groups. This will create empty vertex groups that are assigned to the bones. With our mesh selected, go to edit mode and select vertex groups panel. Now you need to select the vertex group and then all of the corresponding mesh vertices. You can do it by simply pressing L to choose non-connected meshes. This is under assumption that the modeler made the joints disconnected like that. With the vertices selected, press Assign. If you were to test the bones, mesh will follow. Go back to our mesh and before assigning new vertices, deselect everything. That way, you're avoiding situation where mesh is influenced by wrong bones. Now simply repeat the process for the rest of the vertex groups. The hardest but most flexible method is to do it completely by hand. Select the armature, then select the mesh. Press Ctrl Tab and choose weight painting. You can now right click whichever bone you want to paint influence. For maximum efficiency, here's the setup that I use. Set fall off to constant and choose projected. In brushes, deselect front faces only. In tool menu, under options, select auto normalize. It will ensure that when you paint over existing influence, it will automatically delete it. If you need, choose the right mirror option depending on orientation of the mesh. The basic of weight painting is that you give weight to the vertices, weight being the value of how much will that vertex follow the bone. Blue means no weight and red is full weight. Two most common brushes that you will use to assign the weight are paintbrush and blur brush. Paintbrush is simple. It assigns weight depending on its settings, which you can access in Tool panel. By holding mouse button, you will give weight to the vertices, and if you hold Ctrl at the same time, it will delete the weight. Blur brush will do as it says. It will blur the boundary of one bone's influence and make it smoother. It has all the same settings and options as paintbrush. Since this is a different brush, you need to give it the same setup I gave to the paintbrush. If you have trouble where you constantly paint unwanted parts, simply press Tab to go to edit mode. There, hide the parts that you want and then press Tab again. It should be easier now. Also, to see if your mesh is deforming the right way, you can move the bones if you simply select them. Only thing left now is to be patient and to do the work. If some parts of the mesh are not following or are following the wrong bone, simply go back to weight paint mode and fix it by hand. I don't have to say how to do this, just fix it. You have already assigned the vertices before, so no big deal. That would be it for the video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you have a topic you want me to cover, leave a comment. Click the bell to avoid missing new uploads, and I'll see you soon. Take care.